Hey crew, I'm pretty excited today because we're going to start a new story that I think you guys are really going to like. And the cool part about this story is that it's actually true. And we're continuing to read about bird helpers and how bird helpers contribute to a better world by finding birds that need help and taking them in and taking good care of them so that they can heal up and go back out into the wild, or that they can do something else other than being wild birds like we're going to read about in this story. So before we jump into what our story is, we're going to go back to a similar learning target and we're going to describe the characters, the setting, and the problem in Maggie the One-Eyed Peregrine Falcon. So you've done this with the story The Lion and the Bird. You've done this with Pierre the Penguin, and today you're going to do the same thing with this story about Maggie. So your job is to identify the characters, the setting, remember the setting is where it happens, and the problem. So what happened in this story? So here's our story, Maggie the One-Eyed Peregrine Falcon, a true story of rescue and rehabilitation. And this word rehabilitation means that Maggie was taken in by some bird helpers and they made her feel better through some surgeries and taking care of her over a long period of time so that she could go back to doing what she does as a bird. So here's first a picture of Maggie. Not all birds live in trees. Maggie is a 2-month-old peregrine falcon and she is a city bird. She lives in her parents' nest on top of a very tall building. She cannot fly yet, but she loves to see all the action on the busy streets below. Maggie watches her parents dive through the sky to catch food. Mostly they hunt for pigeons. Sometimes they get other birds too. Maggie's parents bring the food to the nest for Maggie to eat. Yum! With her tummy full, Maggie exercises. She takes little jumps along the ledge while opening and closing her wings. When the wind blows under her, she lifts into the air. This feels right. Maggie is almost ready to fly. The morning of her first flight is sunny but breezy. She moves to the edge of the nest and feels the push of the wind along her feathers. Maggie opens her wings and leaps, and flaps, and flies. Her heart races. Sounds of the city swirl around her. She soars to the top of a construction crane and lands. There she watches smaller birds fly below. She dreams of catching her own food. Two days go by. Maggie practices flying. She leaves the nest to explore. The sun warms her as she glides past buildings. A strong wind lifts her. Maggie starts to turn, but she is pushed sideways by the breeze. Suddenly, in front of her, there is a building. It is close. Too close. Crash. Maggie tumbles downward. She falls fast. She cannot stop. And then she is on the ground. The pavement is hot. There are people everywhere. They lean in close. Maggie realizes that her beak hurts. Her eyes aren't working right. What's wrong with her? Maggie cries out in fear and pain. Special people come and pick her up. They seem to know what to do. She is put inside a crate and taken out of the city. The people move her into a building. They call the place a wildlife hospital. They bring her to a quiet room and lift her from the crate. Maggie shivers in fright. They shine a light in her eyes and stretch out her wings. They poke her with something sharp and take pictures of her. Maggie is too tired to fight. She lets them care for her. So these are actual photographs of when Maggie was in the wildlife hospital. And these are all the bird helpers that are taking care of her. Days pass and the doctors keep checking on Maggie. She learns that her left eye was damaged when she hit the building, plus the tip of her beak broke off. Luckily, the x-rays show that she didn't break any bones, and her beak will grow back as good as new. But the doctors are worried about her eye. If it doesn't get better, they have to remove it. If they remove it, Maggie can never return to the wild. The doctors decide that the eye will never heal. They give Maggie medicine that makes her tired. Then, while Maggie is asleep, the doctors very carefully remove the injured eye. When Maggie wakes, there is less pain. She can see, but everything looks different. Maggie is glad that the pain is gone, but she misses her parents' nest. She misses being outdoors. Outside feels much better than inside. The people seem to notice her sadness. They move her to a large outdoor play area. The fresh air and warm sun feel good against her feathers. Maggie has a place to perch and space to fly. A small bird gets into her play area, and Maggie feels hungry. She flies high into the air, then dives toward the bird. Down, down she comes, and she misses it. Now Maggie understands. Without her left eye, she can't catch her own food. Peregrine falcons need both eyes to hunt. The people teach Maggie to sit on their arms. Their eyes are kind and their voices are soft. They reward her with tasty bites of food. The people tell Maggie that she will be an education bird. She will live at the Wildlife Center and she will teach children and adults about peregrine falcons. This news makes Maggie happy. She has learned to like it there. One day, Maggie is taken to meet a group of children. They are loud and wiggly, but they become quiet as soon as they see Maggie. An adult tells the story of Maggie's life, and the children learn why peregrine falcons are important. They admire her feathers, her eye, and her talons. Maggie has become their teacher. Thanks to Maggie, these children and their parents are learning to respect nature and, more importantly, to protect it. Maggie has become an education bird, and every day she will spread the word. The end. So it started off like kind kind of a sad story, right? We learned about a bird that lost her eye, but it ended on a great note because some bird helpers came in and recognized that she needed help and did what they could to save her and protect her. And without those bird helpers, Maggie would not have survived. So now when they say that she's an education bird, that means that she travels around with the Wildlife Center and she gets to meet kids who are studying about birds and show off her feathers and her talons and her beak as they learn about birds just like you guys have. So your job today is to go to your response journal, page 6. And again, just like we've been doing, you're using evidence from the text. So you're not coming up with your own idea. You're using information that you read about in the book to support your thinking. So your job is to answer, what happens to the bird and why is this a problem? So tell me, what happens to Maggie and why is it a problem? Right, once you're done, you can send me a little picture. You can snap a picture of this page when you have it finished and upload it to Dojo. And just like always, remember when you're writing, you're focusing on the big 6. We're almost in 2nd grade, so I want to make sure that before we go, you're really good about those capitals and that punctuation and trying your very best with spelling. Okay, so work on this page, send me a picture when you're done, and I'll give you some feedback. See you soon.